Hey everybody. We did our project on the Bowen family systems. Introduction. Murray Bowen established the Bowen Family Systems Therapy, or BFST, which considers families as emotional systems in which communication patterns affect people's behavior and mental health. One of the important ideas is differentiation of self, which describes a person's capacity to preserve their identity while remaining emotionally bonded to their family. Triangles are stable but occasionally problematic patterns that arise when conflict between two family members prompts a third to become involved. The transfer of relational behaviors and emotional patterns between generations is explained by the family projection process and the intergenerational transmission process. Emotional detachment is a coping mechanism for unresolved family conflict, might cause problems later on in relationships. BFST also takes into account the emotional process of society, where family dynamics are influenced by outside forces such as social and economic pressures. Genograms are frequently used in therapy to find these patterns, which helps people become less emotionally reactive and enhance their ability to interact with others. Why is BFST important? Bowen Family Systems Therapy is important because it helps individuals understand how family dynamics shape their behavior, emotions, and relationships. By focusing on patterns of interaction across generations, BFST empowers people to develop healthier relationships, manage emotional reactivity, and achieve greater personal differentiation. This approach not only improves individual well being, but also fosters stronger and more resilient family systems. History and origin. Murray Bowen is the researcher and development did the research and development for the Bowen system. Of course, he observed a family. He observed families of individuals with schizophrenia. He developed systems theory to explain how emotional patterns and anxiety regulate family interactions. The key influence was rooted in generational systems theory. Families functioned as a unit where members affect one another. He emphasizes multi generational transmission, meaning emotional patterns are passed down. And this is just a quote that that I've ooh, excuse me. This is a quote that I found. He believes and teaches that the family therapist is usually he teaches and believes that the family therapist usually has the very same problems in his own family that are present in families he sees professionally, and that he has responsibility to define himself in his own family if he is to function adequately in his professional work. Differentiation to self. Oh, I'm sorry. Core concepts of the Bowen theory. Differentiation of self, which is balancing emotions and logical thinking in relationships. Triangles, three person relationship three-person relationship system stabilizing tension. So for instance, like if you and your mom are getting into it, your dad might come and be the mediator or try to stabilize the tension. um nuclear family nuclear family emotional system, patterns of emotional function in a family projection process, how parents pass emotional issues onto children. Multi-generational transmission process, how emotional patterns are passed down. Emotional cutoff, distancing from family to cope with unresolved issues. Sibling position, sibling position. Birth order influences behavior and relationships. Societal emotional process. Societal forces impact family dynamics. The target population. So, who benefits from BFST? Individuals struggling with family conflict, emotional distress and anxiety, families experiencing in, families experiencing intergenerational trauma or unhealthy emotional patterns, couples and couples and parents looking to improve communication and emotional regulation, common issues that are addressed, parent childhood conflicts, emotional distance, anxiety disorders, relationship struggles, behavior problems linked to family stress and intergenerational patterns. And these are some of the goals of the Bowen theory: reduce reduce levels of anxiety, alleviate the symptoms, which is projection, triangulation, and fusion. Raise each other's raise each person's level of differentiation. The assessment tools that are used in this type of therapy would be genograms, which is a visual tool mapping family relationships, emotional connections, and behavior patterns across generations. They identify patterns like divorce, estrangement, substance use, or emotional cutoff. And an example is to the right of the screen. And another example would be like our past oral presentation that we had to do. Um, that's a good example as well. Self-reporting questionnaires measures levels of differentiation of self, emotion, reactivity, and family stress. Clinical interviews used to explore families' history, roles, and emotional connections. On the right is also a example of a self-report questionnaire that might be used, but this is not like an exact questionnaire that would be used for this system. I couldn't find one, so found I just found something similar, or possibly something that would possibly relate to that. But again, our last oral presentation that we did individually, um that is a great actual like model of or example of a self-reporting questionnaire that you would use in this type of therapy. Effectiveness and research support. Research findings on BFST reduce research findings on B BFST reduces family anxiety and conflict by improving emotional regulation. Studies show improved differentiation of self leads to better mental health, effective in treatment relationship distress, chronic anxiety, and family dysfunction. Case example: a family struggling with repeated conflicts sees improvement as members learn differentiation skills and emotional regulation. Ethical considerations in BFST: confidentiality, respecting privacy when discussing intergenerational family issues, cultural sensitivity, adapting therapy for diverse family structures and cultural beliefs. Excuse me. Emotional sensitivity, exploring deep-rooted family trauma may cause distress. Therapists must guide clients carefully. Challenges and limitations of BFST: Emotional resistance. Clients may struggle with examining past family patterns or changing behaviors. Long term commitment requires deep self reflection and gradual change, which takes time. Not ideal for crisis situation. BFST is best for long term emotional change, not intimate crisis intervention. Immediate. I'm sorry. Oop. Conclusion. Key takeaways. Bowen Family Systems Therapy helps individuals understand intergenerational emotional patterns. Differentiation of self is key to managing emotions and improving relationships. BFST is an effective long-term approach for reducing family stress, anxiety, and conflict. So the questions that I would like my peers to answer is, how do you think emotional cutoff affects family relationships across generations? And what strategies can individuals use to increase their differentiation of self? And these are the references. Thank you guys for your time. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. And that's it. Thank you.